Hey guys, and welcome back to a new Ruud Talk episode. It's episode 6 of this year, this season. By this intro, I guess you can tell where I am. It's US Open times, and I have Barbara with me. Barbara, you're still in Australia, but you're on the way soon, aren't you?
I am indeed.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's back in the Big Apple, and we have a lot to talk about again, as always. This
We
time,
haven't spoken to each other for a while. I think Wimbledon was the last time. How are you feeling overall? I mean, this looks very professional. Where actually are you in the Big Apple? Because you have, I mean, in the background, I can see you're at the US
yeah,
Open.
I'm at the site, so I had one practice this morning, and now it's 3:30 in the afternoon. So between practices, I'm actually in a media room. It looks very professional from this point, and then if I move around, it's just
Wow,
typical
yeah.
interview room. Not
This
that
is one of the
fancy.
small interview rooms, right?
Yeah, it's
This
one of the
is one of the
smaller
big
ones.
ones.
It's not
Yeah,
the biggest one, no.
this is where you're not going to be after your matches. This is
Let's see.
certainly where you weren't last year.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
we will obviously talk about the US Open a little bit later because I
Yeah.
mean that's where you've reached the finals last year, so that's very exciting. But let's
Mhm.
talk about your tennis and let's speak about your preparation for this tournament. Since Wimbledon, I think you returned on clay before you went on hard court. And
Yeah.
look back, you were in the finals of Borstad, and that was quite a spectacular one against Andrei Rublev, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was nice. It was fun. It was like you said, I went back on clay after Wimbledon, and played two tournaments, one in Båstad, where I reached the final. I lost to Andre. Then we went to Hamburg together the next day. We both played there, and I lost in the quarterfinals against Arthur Fils.
Yeah.
Fils. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce the surname. I don't have the French. The French tongue is not my language. That was kind of it for the clay, I guess, for this year for me. I went home and practiced on hard court, and then Toronto, Cincinnati could have gone better for sure. But honestly, I'm not too upset about how the summer's been. I'm like I said many times, I always try my best. I'm just like any other tennis player, trying my best every day, and I won't be able to win every match that I play far away from. I will lose many matches, and many more I will lose for sure. But of course, I want to try to do well here in New York. It's Tuesday, 6 days until the tournament starts, so I have days to prepare. And what you really want to focus on is being physically ready for best of 5 sets again, and also mentally, and tennis wise also feeling well. So you know that every match is going to be long no matter what happens. So it's important to be in that Grand Slam mood, and I'm getting there every day by day, and it's fun to be back in a big city.
It's certainly a city which is very exciting. Just
Mhm.
before digging into New York and the US Open, let's just go back to Toronto and Cincinnati, where
Yeah.
you've played as well. Let's talk a little bit about that. How you felt in Toronto? You lost against Davidovich Fokina in 3 sets, and then
Yeah.
Cincinnati against Max Purcell. You said it. You don't want to read too much into those results, but how are you generally feeling on hard court now?
It was two close matches that I lost, and of course you want to try to forget those tough losses as soon as possible. But I think also that tough losses like this can make you stronger, can make you learn in those situations, and sometimes you can somehow learn more than winning those tough matches in a
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
because you just think so much that you will just want to make sure that it doesn't happen again. But you never know. Like I said, also I'm gonna probably lose many more tough three setters in my career. But if I win more than I lose, I'll be happy. But the last 2 weeks it was two tough losses for sure.
And you know, you don't want to peak at the you want to peak at the right time as well, and that's
Yeah.
definitely the US Open. But somewhere where you were peaking was when you were drawing the maple leaf on the camera.
Yeah.
Canadian maple leaf. I've never seen you drawing. Why did you do that? Did you want to seduce the crowd, or do you have a special connection with Canadians? And when you've done that, you look very focused.
Yeah, it's a difficult flag to paint. I mean, or to draw, or whatever you want to call what I did was. I mean, it started off pretty well, and then in the way I felt like I messed up a little towards the end, but it's okay. I mean, I just wanted to challenge myself, I guess, because it's like I said, it's not an easy thing to draw. Actually, the maple leaf, it's
So
to
why
get it
did you
perfect.
choose it?
I don't know. We were in Canada, and it felt like the right thing to do, and you know, it's only so many times it's interesting to see one's signature. So I figured it's fun to maybe try something else, and that's what I went with. And yeah, I was focused. I wanted to get it right and get it well. And it's I like playing in Canada. I've had good memories there from the past. You have a lot of people who like sports and entertainment, and um, I also went to a baseball game for the first time in my life, and I was actually invited to throw the first pitch.
I
So
saw
it
that.
was
I wanted to
it
talk
was
to you about that. How was that?
yeah, it was a bit nerve-wracking. I'd never done anything like that. When I'd gone to other sports like team sports in the US or Canada in the past, it's always been just as a normal person going to be a spectator for once, and to be out there on a arena or a field that I have no clue about was a little nerve-wracking. But I just, due to the fact that I serve and play a forehand, I guess I know how to throw a ball, so that kind of helped. So I just wanted to do a good first pitch, and I threw it with all my effort and strength, and I think it ended up quite well, at least.
Yeah, it looked really well, but you did look nervous. It's different than when you play golf. You feel so comfortable out there, I guess, but
Yeah.
there's always has to be the first for everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the arenas are big. They're bigger than tennis
Yeah.
courts, so it's more people there.
You've done very well. So all good.
Thanks.
So where's the confidence level now for you heading into the US Open? Is it a big deal for you? You know that you haven't played a lot of matches now before heading into New York, the US Open, or does it not matter at all?
Well, honestly, I think the last 2 years, 3 years maybe has kind of made me a more, what should I say, mature player, especially in Grand Slams. And I think I have more belief in myself than I had before, because I hadn't maybe done a really good result in the past. So it's good memories. It feels not that long ago where me and Carlos played it out there on the final, and now we're back, and back to business. And this year has gone quick, to put it this way. And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be back. And like I said, the goal is always to reach second week, and from there, you know, who knows what happens. That's kind of how I felt in the other times where I reached the final, is, you know, just get through the first week, and from there on, you know, you might play a player who's played really tough matches. Maybe he has pain, injured. Maybe you have pain, so you never really know. It also comes to a point where the physical aspect also kind of kicks in and plays a role in how you play a match. So yeah, best of 5 sets is different, so you need to be physically ready. And if you are heading into the second week, I think good things can happen for you.
Let's talk about tennis on the tour. Now, there was an incredible finals in Cincinnati between Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic. Did you watch it?
No, I didn't. I was enjoying some time on the golf course. As always, it's my biggest passion outside of tennis. So actually, yeah, like after I lost in Cincinnati, I stayed for a couple more days, practiced hard, and then Saturday, Sunday, or I practiced the last day on Friday in Cincinnati. I drove 5 hours from Cincinnati to a place called Namakolin, which is sort of halfway on the way to New York if you drive from Cincinnati to New York, and then drove into Manhattan Sunday night and got here late Sunday, and been practicing since Monday. So
you've done that last year as well, haven't you?
I did that last year as well. Yeah, it was a good way, I guess, to head into New York last year. So let's see if it works this year as well. But I watched some highlights for sure, and was following some live scores from the car. But I didn't have Wi-Fi other than 5G or so
Yeah.
roaming or whatever, and it's too expensive to stream in the States.
Casper says it's too expensive.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't have an American number, so it's expensive if I want to stream live sports.
You need to get a SIM card. Just get a chip for the time that you're there.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I know I'm too lazy. Too lazy.
Come on. I'll get you one when I get to New York.
Yeah, thank you.
So no, it was an unbelievable. The level of tennis was incredible. When Novak lost the first set, I thought, okay, he's dead. You know, it was so hot there, as you know, Cincinnati. The the weather, the humidity, and everything. Be crazy, and it turned out to be one of the best matches. But have you watched the match, the finals of Wimbledon between the two of them at all?
Yes.
Or there you go.
Not like I said again, not everything, because that Sunday I was driving from Oslo to Båstad, so it was difficult to watch while you're driving. Need to keep my eyes on the road, so can't watch tennis at the same time. But it's fun. I mean, Carlos and Novak, you know, they kind of they play similar tennis in a way. Just that one thing that they do opposite. I mean, they have kind of all shots in the book. Carlos maybe plays little higher speed in a way. He can accelerate even more, but they move great. They have all shots. You know, it's tough to find a weakness. They both have a good drop shot. Carlos plays it mostly from the forehand, Novak mostly from the backhand, and then they're good enough as it is on the net. They got good hand skills, and serve and returns are great. So obviously it's always going to be a good matchup when they play each other, and you've seen it in the past now. What is it, 4 times that they've played, and they have 2-2, I guess, head to head. Or am I wrong? But it's always been a really, really good match. So it's a matchup that is going to be a treat for fans in who knows how many years. But when they play, it's going to be interesting. And I'm a player, I guess, one of all players who's going to try to stop them from playing again here in New York, because it means that if they play, it's in the final, so everyone else also wants to reach the final. But that's going to be, those 2 guys are now the guys who mostly will keep their eyes on, I guess, during the tournament, and they're the 2 biggest favorites for sure.
Yeah, so the center of attention probably is going to be on the 2 of them coming into the US Open, especially the world number 1 is at stake, as well as 20 points between the 2 of them. And remember, Novak Djokovic didn't play the US Open last year, so interesting, huh?
Yeah, I guess he only needs to win 1 match then to.
That's right, exactly.
So, yeah. There you go. Yeah, and Carlos has everything kind of to lose with defending 2,000 points. But they have been going back and forth now for around a year. So it's fun that race is on, and I think they probably both think that it's more important to win the slam if they could, other than to keep the number 1 or number 2. You know, probably won't make too big of a difference for them, but for sure they are the world number 1 and 2 with really deserved. So it's going to be interesting, and yeah, like you said, most of attention is going to be on them. It's great for the tournament. You'll have one guy playing one day, the other one playing the other day. You'll have, you know, going back and forth. So it's going to be an exciting tournament in New York this year. You have a lot of players who's eager to do well. Zverev is beginning to find his form. After his horrible injury last year, he's been playing much better. And you know, Daniil, you can never count him out. He's won here before. Carlos, of course, Novak. Tsitsipas maybe wants to make a good run. Rune is seeded number 4, I believe, again for the first time this year. So it's going to be interesting. It's you know, you have Fritz Tiafoe, who's going to want to do well on home soil and in front of the home crowd. So and I'm going to do my best as well. So, and many others. So, well, there are always surprises in Grand Slam. So it's fun to see who's going to be the big surprise this year.
Yeah, no, it's going to be super exciting. I can't wait for the tournament to kick off. Talking about Carlos Alcaraz, amazing the way he's been playing since pretty much a year and a half. Now his rise as well. But there's one sport besides tennis where you can beat him, apparently, if you found out, because Sasha Zverev has played golf with him. So you need to get on the golf course with him. So he's got. Have you played with him at all?
It's funny you say, because him and Juanqui, or Juan Carlos, the coach, actually invited my dad and I to play today, Tuesday.
What?
But I had to do the podcast with you instead. So here I am.
Sorry. No, it's my fault.
No, I have practice anyway. It's in the afternoon, so don't worry. But we'll play in the future.
Imagine if you could organize a golf tournament just for tennis players. Do you think you would top seed? Would you win it, or is there anybody who plays better than you? Because I feel like you're the best out there at the moment.
I don't know. I wouldn't put that pressure on myself. I haven't played with that many tennis players, but I know that Rafa is better than me, and there's also an American player, William Blumberg. He plays mostly doubles. He's a good friend of mine. He's much better than me. So him and Rafa would be top seeds in my world, at least. And I know other players as well, like Dan Evans plays a bit of golf, and he's good. Joe Salisbury, I know he plays. And well, you have like former player Marty Fish. He's great. He's probably the best of all tennis players. And Tim Henman is a good player. You can ask him when you see him.
I know, because all he talks about is golf, believe me, not tennis.
There you go. There you go.
I'm going to organize an exhibition called Club and Racket, where you play tennis and you play. I think that's a great idea. Let's do it.
I'm in.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the news of the tennis here is probably Stefanos Tsitsipas won't work with his father anymore, or not as close anymore.
Yeah.
How big were those news in the tennis world for you? Were you surprised to see that or hear that, or do you think it was about time?
Well, a little surprised for sure. I mean, it's they have a strong bond. I mean, it's anyone can see that. It's also a question of if it kind of becomes too stressful for both parties. I don't know. That's maybe what they have found out. But both they're as I view them, or as I've seen them, they're both two guys with a lot of passion for tennis and passion for doing well. And as a father, you know, Apostolos just wants the best for his son, and he has given, you know, Steph a lot of guidance and help and so his whole life. Otherwise, it wouldn't be possible to reach as far as Steph has done. And then maybe it's time for other impulses, other views, maybe, you know, it comes to a point where I know myself. I mean, you can get a little tired of your dad, first of all, but also you can kind of come into this kind of spiral where there are a lot of fights or discussions or disagreements or whatever. So maybe it's nice to just say, you know, let's try something else for a time. But I'm sure that Apostolos will come to several tournaments and will be kind of the main also be a big part of the team, even though he doesn't travel as much. So it's something that they have found out is the best way, and let's see how it goes.
I mean, you obviously work with your dad. How difficult is it to separate it? You know, okay, now you're my dad, now you're my coach, because I can imagine that sometimes can be quite tricky, because tennis is a very stressful and emotional sport as well. How is it going with you and your dad? I mean, it looks like that you have an unbelievable relationship.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, we can get frustrated with each other, or I get angry with him, or opposite, or whatever. But in the end, I know that my dad, as a father, will do everything he can which is the best for me, or in my favor. So he will do all in his power to favorize me and make my kind of job not as easy as possible, but just do everything he can for me to play well, and because he cares. And I always looked at it as I've been very grateful to have him around because of that mentality where, as a teenager or a young player playing tennis, I think you need someone around a lot to kind of keep you focused on in the right mindset. And to me, it was always natural to have my father because I knew that he had done it before and he was guiding me in the right direction. And he was in some way like my coach and also my guard. I'm very happy and grateful for that.
And I know that the family is very important to you. I've seen your family, the whole family in Hamburg. Remember, your grandmothers were there.
Yeah.
So cute. And I can just see that you get a lot of energy having them around. Also, like Roland Garros, you had a big crew there, a mixture of family and friends and team as well. There was this one moment where we saw you playing table soccer with your team. Who's in charge of the entertainment in your team, and who is the funny guy? Is it you or who is it who comes up with the initiative and it's not all about practice and work and work and work? Who lights things up in the team?
I guess I'm one of the reasons, just because I'm the youngest one. Everyone else is older than me in the team, so so I need to bring some young energy. But I think also Pedro, my other coach from the academy, the Rafa Nadal Academy, he brings a lot of good energy and a lot of laughs at the table and jokes, and we have whenever we're all together, we have a great time, and we got to know each other well, and it's very fun. But yeah, the table tennis soccer thing is something that I came up with my physio, who is also young. Marcel is my fitness coach. He's been around longer. Him and I also have done a lot of games in the gym and always challenge each other with a football or whatever. So it kind of comes from there, and then my physio also comes from having worked with a soccer team, so he's also into soccer. So I guess that's kind of just added to the games, and yeah, it's fun to see who is more talented or who's the best one in the team.
That's always a competition, huh?
Yeah, it's always bragging rights, who's got more talent this week or next week. So it's always we're always competing.
I love it's a beautiful family affair. It's also a family affair with the Rafa Nadal family. I don't know if you've seen it, but we saw Rafa giving advice to Juan or Juan. I'm not sure, his cousin, who's also playing tennis with Uncle Tony. Do you think this would be a future also for Rafa to be mentoring players, or for example his cousin? Would it be a good thing to have him in on tour as potentially a coach? And I know he's gonna be back next year to finish his career, but what do you reckon? Or maybe in your team, imagine that if he could coach you a little bit, or
yeah, I don't know, but what I do know is Rafa has probably one of the strongest mentalities of any sports person in the world. Just never gives up, accepts defeats, accepts his own mistakes, and just carries on and has motivation to work hard and hard and hard. So, of course, if he could bring that mentality and help someone who would need it or can take it, because it's also tough. I mean, Tony, his uncle, is strict. I mean, and that mentality or that kind of workload or practice load that they have done is maybe not for everyone. Who knows? I mean, everyone's different, so it's gonna also rely on someone being able to kind of take it or handle being kind of pushed that hard every day. So I think Rafa is one of the toughest mentalities and that I know. So if he can bring that on to someone who can handle it or take it, I mean, for sure that could be a very, very successful what should I say, relationship or a team, or as a mentor or coach or whatever we're talking about here. But yeah, I mean, first of all, Rafa has to come back next year and hopefully be in good shape, and I think everyone misses him on the tour, and yeah, let's see what the next year or two holds for him, and let's see from there. But it's funny. I mean, I've gotten to know the family a little. His cousins are great guys, Joan, and also Tony's other son is
Yeah.
also named Tony. So it's fun. I've gotten to know them. My sister, she goes to the academy. She used to live there for 3-4 years. So they've been very welcoming to me and my sister and my family. So it's great people.
All right. Should we go to the debate? We want to talk about equal prize money. Now, this year we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the WTA Tour. And also, obviously, the big topic is the equal prize money. US Open was the first Grand Slam to give that right to the women, that there's, you know, the same prize money. I remember that because when I used to play Casper, there was not equal prize money at every Grand Slam.
Yeah.
Billie Jean King obviously is the one, you know, who was fighting for that for so many years. Your thoughts on the equal prize money at the Grand Slam events? Do you think it's fair? Do you think that's a good thing, or do I have to jump through the computer and throttle you?
No, you know, I've seen a lot of this. Is obviously going to be a debate for years to come, and I think
Uh-oh.
no, it's nothing. I don't think you will get angry, but I know that people, I mean, maybe super, I don't know what to call them, but people who believe that men and women are completely equal, I don't maybe agree on that. I think there are physical differences. So my point is that people who say, you know, equal work, equal pay should also be in tennis, where some people think that women should play best of five. I don't agree, because just genetically, I think women are, you know, not to be rude or mean or anything, but I think it's just tough for women to play 4 or 5 hours. And I think that there are just some physical differences that I think it's fair that you play best of three and we play best of five. That doesn't bother me at all, that you should be played that you should get paid equal. So I have no problem with it. I think tennis sets a good example compared to other sports. Tennis is far ahead of most other sports in the world when it comes to this equal prize money and equal pay. So yeah, it's US Open were the ones that set the bar high, set the example, and then many tournaments have, or I don't know how many exactly, but all the other slams have followed along. And this year we're celebrating 50 years, and you know, Billie Jean King was the one who fought for that. It's a picture of her everywhere here this year, so it's great to recognize her as well.
There's certainly still a big gap from the ATP Tour and the WTA Tour. If there wasn't equal prize money at the Grand Slam, women probably wouldn't survive as a number 30 or 40 in the world. So that's a really important thing. Do you think the men's, I mean, if you look at Cincinnati now, for example, you know, the prize money difference was incredible. The men had 6.6 million on the go, the breakdown of the prize money, and then the women's on the other side was 2.7 million. Do you think the men's game should maybe support the women's tour or the women's game a little bit more, making sure that the prize money is also equal at the combined events, like Cincinnati, for example?
Well, I mean, ATP and WTA are two different associations and two different call it companies, if you will. And
should it be? Does it have to be, or should it be maybe more together, like Roger Federer said 4 years ago? He suggested that too.
It's a good question. I mean, it would make some things practically a little tough, I think, in having them together, but also some things easier. You know, if you put everything together, I don't know how it would look like if all tournaments would be combined events, or how they would do it. But I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I haven't really set my eyes or thoughts into the business side of WTA because it's a lot of talk on the ATP these days and so on. So I've kind of been busy on that part.
I mean, it's certainly moving in a better direction for women's tennis, but it's taking small little steps, you know. And I've been there. I've done this sport, and when you put so much effort in it, and you sacrifice so much as well. And yes, you play shorter matches maybe, but you still kind of wanna be recognized in a similar way or same way as a man does.
Yeah.
But that's another. Should we move to something lighter?
This is a difficult subject, Barbara. But
I know. I'm sorry that I'm.
I mean, if there's something else you wanna, I mean, if there's anything else, I mean, with like I said, within the combined events, when you have like Cincinnati, New Wells, Miami, Rome, Madrid, where we play at the same place, but it's hosted by two different organizers or associations. It's hard for me to know what's fair or not, because I don't know the numbers of attendance, ticket sales, you know, the ATP compared to WTA, because the scheduling is also difficult. You have like maybe one match in the morning is WTA, and then the next two is ATP, and then the fourth one is WTA again. So it goes back and forth all the time. It's difficult to know like how the numbers are exactly. So it's up to the WTA to I guess fight for the rights or for the prize money of their players. It's not up to me to decide. Other than that, I could say that the Grand Slams have reached the furthest of how they want to distribute the prize money, and they are in control. So it's like I said, it's 50 years since US Open did this. So they have set the bar in a high, and since then, you know, never look back.
Anyway, let's time to smile a little bit more, because I saw on Instagram that you met a very famous photographer, and you were doing a shoot with a Viking suit. How was that? I love the photos. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was interesting. David Yarrow is the photographer that I actually have been before meeting him. I looked at some of his pictures and was, you know, blown away by the how he'd been able to capture it. I'm no expert in art or anything, but I think in my apartment I have only 2 paintings. So I always kind of say to myself, well, when I get back home, you know, it's time to fill up the apartment with somewhat of nice art or picture or whatever, and then I can never really decide what I like, or in our case, Maria and I, what we like. We can never agree. So, but we go to sometimes like an art gallery or exhibition, but and we've seen pictures that David Yarrow has taken and shot, and we were always amazed. So it was great to meet him. He's a really nice guy, and he's into sports. He likes following sports. He has friends in Norway, so he goes there every now and then, and it just worked out well. We did two different pictures, one tennis related and one, you know, completely different, trying to find, you know, the origin or my inner Viking Norwegian kind of soul, and challenged me on this way to do something again out of my comfort zone. So yeah, it was sorry.
The things you have to do, you know, you have to
the things you have to do, and
baseball match, then you have to dress up like a Viking. It's never ending, isn't it?
It's fun to do other stuff. I never imagined when I went to look at a lion picture of David Yarrow that I would meet him, and he would, you know, ask me if he could photograph me, and it felt like an honor.
No, the pictures are the photos are actually amazing. You should actually get one framed up and put it up in your house. I think that would be, I don't know, it's weird maybe to see yourself there, but I think that's one of those, you know, photos taken from him, which should find a spot in your house. Will that happen?
Maybe. I hope so. I mean, there are 2 pictures that I could choose from. So
there you go.
Some of the pictures that I don't, you know, love all the pictures that people take of me or whatever, but some pictures can be related to somewhat of an artwork. So these 2 for sure are. So that was the idea, and that was the result. So maybe it could fit somewhere. I don't know.
All right, we know that you're a photo model now, but what's the next step? Could you be an actor as well? Because your resemblance with Ryan Gosling did not go unnoticed on the internet. How funny was that when you saw that? Oh my God. And there I can see, similarities, I have to say.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, the thing is, sometimes if people ask me to maybe send a video to cousin of a friend or whatever who's getting married or all these things, and I always have to take so many tries because I always start bursting out to laugh because I'm no good actor at all, and I always stumble on what words to say, and I just overthink the whole situation. So when people, if I send a video for a foundation or whatever or something like this, I always have to take like 20 tries to get it right because I'm not good at all. So I don't think acting is my way. Who knows? That's probably the place I would feel most uncomfortable in my life to be doing acting. But
you never know.
You never know. I mean, you can never say never, but I doubt it. I have my doubts.
I've just watched the documentary of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, anything is possible, really. You should watch
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I did this summer. It was cool. It was really good. Yeah.
I'm a very proud Austrian when I watch this. This is pretty phenomenal, I have to say. But from Schwarzenegger to the Barbie movie, have you watched the Barbie movie? I mean, that's why I'm wearing pink today.
Yeah, pink. There you go. No, I have my girlfriend Maria. She watched and she told me all about it, so I kind of know already what it's about. But could be in the future that I watch it.
I don't think I'm going to meet you in the cinemas anytime soon, but I will see you at the courts in New York. Casper, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for now, and see you in a couple of days in New York. Safe travel.
Yeah. Sounds great. Thank you so much. Have a great practice day today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Cheers.
Hi, I'm John McEnroe, and welcome to Eurosport Tennis on YouTube. Click here to subscribe to Eurosport Tennis.